Sami and the Mysterious Sound. The morning sun bathed the village in a warm golden glow. The streets bustled with merchants calling out their wares, children laughing as they ran between market stalls, and donkeys braying under the weight of baskets overflowing with fresh produce. Among the crowd, a man in a simple robe and a patched turban strolled leisurely, a mischievous twinkle in his eyes. It was Sami, the man of 1,000 tales, and today he was particularly hungry. As he wandered through the marketplace, his stomach let out a deep growl. Sami patted his belly and sighed. "Patience, my friend," he said to himself. "A full stomach is nothing but a happy illusion." His donkey, plodding beside him, gave a snort, as if to disagree. The smell of a feast. Sami's nose twitched. The air was thick with the scent of warm, fresh bread, sweet pastries dripping with honey, and spiced nuts roasting over open flames. But the richest, most mouth-watering aroma of all came from a small food stall at the edge of the market. A stout shopkeeper, his apron stained with oil and spices, stood behind a sizzling grill, flipping skewers of juicy marinated meat. Smoke curled into the sky, carrying the irresistible scent through the marketplace. Sami stopped in his tracks, closed his eyes, and inhaled deeply. "Ah, what a wonderful meal this is," he sighed dreamily. But Sami had no money, and his pockets were as empty as a dry well in summer. He reached into his robe and pulled out a piece of stale, hard bread, so dry it nearly crumbled in his fingers. Thinking quickly, he held the bread over the rising smoke, letting it absorb the delicious aroma of the grilling meat. Then, with great satisfaction, he took a bite. Though the bread remained as dry as before, his imagination made it taste like the finest roasted feast. Exquisite," Sami murmured, chewing thoughtfully. "An angry merchant." The shopkeeper narrowed his eyes as he watched Sami enjoying his meal. With a huff, he stomped out from behind his stall and stood before Sami, arms crossed. "Hey, you! What do you think you're doing?" he barked. Sami blinked. "Eating my lunch," he replied with an innocent smile. The shopkeeper scoffed. "Eating? You didn't buy anything from me." Sami waved his half-eaten bread in the air. "True, my friend. But I did not eat your food. I only enjoyed its aroma. And what a fine aroma it is." The shopkeeper's face turned red. "The smell of my kebabs is not free," he declared. "If you enjoyed it, you must pay for it." Sami's eyebrows shot up. "Pay? For the smell of your food?" "Yes," the shopkeeper insisted, placing his hands on his hips. 5 silver coins." A small crowd had gathered, curious about the argument. Some villagers whispered among themselves, while others chuckled, knowing that Sami was always full of surprises. Sami's clever trick. Sami sighed dramatically and reached into his pocket. He pulled out 5 silver coins and held them up so they glistened in the sunlight. The shopkeeper's eyes widened, his greedy fingers twitching. Then, just as slowly, Sami brought the coins together and jingled them loudly, letting the metallic sound ring through the air. He tilted his head, as if appreciating the melody. After a moment, he slipped the coins back into his pocket. The shopkeeper's jaw dropped. "What was that? Where's my money?" Sami smiled. "Ah, my friend, you charged me for the smell of your food. And I have paid you with the sound of my money." The crowd erupted into laughter. Some villagers clapped, others wiped tears from their eyes, and even Sami's donkey let out a snort of approval. The shopkeeper, realizing he had been outwitted, grumbled under his breath and stomped back to his stall. The lesson. As Sami mounted his donkey, he turned to the crowd and said with a grin, "True wisdom, my friends, is knowing the difference between what is real and what is just an illusion." And with that, he rode off into the marketplace, whistling a cheerful tune, leaving behind a lesson that the villagers would never forget.